So नमस्कार अरुणिमा.
नमस्ते श्वेता.
Okay, so अब हम बात करने वाले मैरिज के ऊपर.
Right.
So to begin with, how does spirituality actually view marriage?
So the way we think of marriage, like if you think of all the Bollywood movies that we have been shown, especially the 90s kids and the 2000 plus, those kind of times, we think of marriage as a romantic thing and ultimate destiny. Spirituality has a very, very different take of marriage, okay? And it will not sound great, but it is unfinished business to an extent that you need to live with that person all throughout the life and balance the karma. It's kind of you can call it a contract. It's called a soul contract. Like you have soul contracts with every person that you meet. Even today that I'm meeting you, we had a small soul contract that we'll meet once and uplift each other, kind of a thing. So marriage is obviously as compared, it's a bigger contract that you are going to live with each other, teach each other some lessons and balance your karma. Yeah. So this is how.
Okay. So why is marriage is often less about romance and everything?
I think romance is a very, very mental kind of a construct. I would say it's a construct only. If you think of romance, what is romance? I'll tell you the biggest love stories that we know, if you say in India, is that of Shiv and Shakti.
Yeah.
Is that of Radha and Krishna. Where was romance there? If you think of romance as Shah Rukh Khan preparing to propose some girl. And the girl kind of blushing and the first time saying, oh, you just go, and that's not the reality. When a boy actually falls in love, he will be rather nervous in front of that girl. And if a girl is actually in love, she'll break those traps and those kind of things that girls should not speak up. When women are in love, like you think about Lord Krishna creating so many women in being in love because they owed him that kind of a blessing. Think of the Bhakti cult, okay? Think of Mirabai. These were the women who were outspoken. They spoke about their love. But then we build up a kind of structure where we have gender roles. So romance says the man is going to propose and the woman is going to be proposed and so that's not actually the ultimate reality even otherwise if you think of love. And marriage is not romance because, if you start living with a person, it's not just looking at that person's face or maybe tall, dark, handsome and convent educated. Those things go for a toss after marriage because now you're living with each other and you're looking through each other's entire personality, ego problems and things like that. Marriages also involve children.
Yeah.
There's this lady, I'm sure everyone loves her, Sushmita Sen.
Yeah.
I really am, a big fan of Sushmita Sen. But she said something which I didn't quite agree with. She said something on the lines that just giving birth to a child doesn't make you a mother. She said something like, giving a birth doesn't make you a mother. Okay? Looking, after the child and bringing that child up makes you the real mother. But, what she said is very, it sounds great. Think about those mothers who have not given birth.
But still caring.
And they don't have, they don't have the kind of 50 servants in their house to look after the kids. Okay? Then when you look after that child, it's too big a greatness, I would say, because the mother ideally, especially in India, you bear the child in your in your own body and for 9 months you have to live a certain kind of life. When the child happens, the labor pain is so huge, or even if you are being operated, it's such a thing. So living by all those things, you don't expect the other person to be always behaving ideally, okay? The other person may not understand your pain at all. Now they have these periods machines, no? Now they are getting men to understand the pain of women and now they are saying, oh, it's almost like a heart attack and giving birth to children is like 21 bones breaking. So marriage cannot be romantic all throughout. There will be a honeymoon phase, whether they go on a honeymoon or not. But after 2-3 months, most of the marriages land up, oh my God, he was actually this kind of a person. So I would not directly say that marriages are only hormonal kicks, but there is a lot of reality which is involved in, staying with a person and saying that I will stay with this person all throughout life. Okay. So then the soul contract comes out and then you teach each other some kind of lessons.
Yeah. True. So how marital karma is different from other karmic bonds that we have with parents or our child?
Right. So first of all, when we think of karma, karma is something there which is unfinished. There's an imbalance, obviously, the balance that has to be brought about. However, with marriage, I would say, you think of it logically. So when we think of, let's say, a karma with your parents, Okay, now that is a kind of karma most of us would not want to break. You know, like let's say your parents are like very old, whatever they may be doing, whichever way they may be behaving, ideally we would not want to let go of them.
Yeah.
The same goes with our kids, no? And I've seen many people talk back to their children only because they're young, and till date this is happening. I've been an educator for more than 12 years now, and I've seen the way parents judge their children. They expect so much from the teacher, they don't give to their children themselves. Okay. However, and this is a bond that cannot be broken. You're traumatizing the child by saying, I just heard one of my clients say that I was shouting at my daughter saying that because of you, I'm not able to go according to my degrees and I'm sitting back at home. Why do you give birth to the child? It's not just your husband's, choice. It was your choice also. Keeping quiet is also a choice, no? Okay, so don't use convenience, because that child is going to listen to you. The child cannot go somewhere. So how is marriage different? Marriage has a choice of breaking. Okay, with children maybe, with parents maybe, with siblings maybe, you have to meet. You have to maybe stay together and maintain a certain kind of relation. But marriage is obviously a very, very intense karmic connection. But at the same time, it's also a karmic connection which can be, foregone. Like you can let go of it. Obviously, provided that you take those kind of steps.
Okay, and what are the main lessons that marriage teaches?
So, as far as I have seen in my own cases, like, when I do past life regression and all those kind of things, I have seen that the major lesson that marriage teaches is about self-intimacy. Now, this may be a new concept for many people, and I've written essays over this. Self-intimacy, think about in terms of how intimate are we with ourselves? When we think of intimacy, this word intimacy we think physical intimacy, getting sexual with someone. However, do you really know that person? Think of marriage, Suhagrat. People don't even know each other. How cultural and how respectful is this concept, right? Or the honeymoon phase. I've heard so many girls say that I was so uncomfortable, but I didn't have an option because I was told by my parents to behave in a certain manner. You can't even voice your opinion, okay? Or I've also heard from, female clients who say that my husband was very kind of romantic in the beginning. Now he's only into work and I feel unfulfilled. So this is a very, very big lesson. Why do you feel unfulfilled? It raises a major question that why were you looking for fulfillment outside yourself? And why is fulfillment only bodily? Okay, and I've seen a lot of women, and I'm one of those women. So I walked out of my own marriage, okay, and I realized, oh my God, there's such a beautiful world out there. Why should you only become that good girl and the good daughter and the good wife? And I saw more happiness in my own kids. I wrote books after that. I spoke on TEDx after that, and I started giving lessons on healing because I took so many international, national lessons. All those kind of things I did during COVID when the entire world was in depression. I was the happiest person. Okay, so self-intimacy in the sense, do you know yourself? How intimate are you with yourself? Can you do journal writing on a regular basis to ask yourself, how are you feeling, Arunima, today? So you already know. Sometimes you don't want to accept, like someone talked back with you, okay, talked down to you. You're not answering back. But deep down you know that there's a deep void that has been created. Are you able to solve that? So the biggest lesson that marriage teaches is about being intimate with yourself first, fulfilling yourself first before seeking it out in some other person. There are obviously many other things like, we are in self-doubt, we think we're not good looking, and we don't have anything good about ourselves. And marriages actually trigger that off. I have clients who come for healing and they say that, the morning begins with my mother-in-law saying things like, Badsurat hai, moti ho gayi hai. But she gave birth to a child. 3 months later, they're expecting her to be in. So those kind of lessons, the lessons are always opposite. What is being told to you at a higher level, your mother-in-law's soul is actually doing justice to you by making you question, why are you still here? Why aren't you answering back? Okay, things like that. You can't be perfect. So lessons come like this. Okay, it doesn't only come like, your person saying, I love you and you're so beautiful.
So when does staying in a marriage become resistance to growth?
See, so I have seen some marriages. I would not say that marriages are like totally bad. In fact, marriages are part of astrology, and as a semi-astrologer, because I don't read for others, I just learned it for first working out myself. Marriages help you first of all balance your karma. You cannot just move around in a void in this world. You come back, you have been with so many souls, you are learning lessons, you have to unlearn lessons which were taught to you. There's so many things that parents teach you which you need to unlearn as, you know, an adult. So when you need to walk out of it, like, you know, the marital karma, you know, obviously it has to be a situation when, you know, I would say that if you feel looked down upon, if you feel I have to make myself smaller, that is a good enough reason for you to start talking about it. However, I have seen women being in extreme abusive situation, kind of erasing themselves totally, okay, and you start questioning your own mental health. There are more women taking mental health lessons, you know that, right? But that's also because women are at least aware that we need this. Men are not even talking about it. Men are saying we are all fine. So, in fact, I had, you know, there was a person who was asked to meet me because of his sister. The sister was also a healer, and he came to me for past life regression and for healing and counseling sessions. And he said, there's no problem with parents abusing kids. My parents also did. And guess what I come to know the next day? He also used to abuse his wife and his children, like physically abuse them, and he thought that there's no problem. Today I'm earning so much. So it's not always about earning so much. You need to see in the marriage, are you erasing yourself? Are you existing as you were before marriage? Have you raised yourself enough or not? If it's not going on growth, you're completely diminishing into nothingness, I think that's the right time when you need to walk off.
Walk off.